Hello, Mobius here with a quick tutorial for my Quest journal script for RPG Maker XP. Just released version 2.0, which added switch and variable usage. So wanted to show you guys that and get you started on it. Alright, so what we've got first off, we've got a little demo project here. You can download this, it's there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just open up the script editor and we'll take a look at the customizable constants. So the first three, if you've used my script before, you're already familiar with. If you haven't used my script, be sure to check out the other tutorial video and it'll fill you in on all this other stuff. So the next one here, we have use switches and variables, and it's set to true because we want to use those. That's the new feature. If you don't want to use it, you like it the old way, just set that to false and you'll be good to go. Alright, so once that's set to true, then we need to set the switch and variable IDs. So the script will automatically reserve the total number that you need, but you just have to tell it where to start looking. So for example, if you have 10 different quests, you're going to need 10 different variables. So if you just tell it the first one, you tell it 2, it's going to reserve 2 through 11. So it's not actually 2 through 12 because it's going to use 2 as the first one, so it's 2 through 11. And then for switches, it'd be the same thing. However, for switches, it's actually going to reserve 2 switches per quest, so you'll need to double it. So if you have 10 quests, you need to reserve 20 switches. So if you tell it 2, it's going to reserve 2 through 21. Alright, so I've just go ahead and I've picked 2, and we'll get started. So the next one you have is rename switches and variables. And we're going to set this to true, and we're going to see what that does in a moment. So we'll go ahead and we'll just start a playtest. Yep, of course, we'll save the changes. Alright, we'll start a new game. And we can see we've got those. Okay. Alright, so now we can open this up. Alright, so because we're using the switches and because we told it to rename things for us, if we open up the debug menu, you can see here, we're starting at 2. You have main quest, treasure hunt, which is the next quest, yellow cake, another quest, generic quest. So all of the quests that you would have loaded up are now represented here in the debug menu, and you can interact with them. So right now the only quest that we know is the main quest. So let's go ahead and discover the treasure hunt, the yellow cake, and the generic quest. Alright, so now we'll exit out of that and we'll pull this up, and you can see now we can see all of these. So this makes debugging and practice and checking out different things with your quests very easy, and it also means that you can use standard eventing calls to change switches in order to affect the state of your quests. So you don't have to use the script calls anymore. You can just use plain old events, and that makes it very handy. Now, one of the extra things then that you can do is so let me back up and let me finish with this. So the reason you have 2 switches, as you can see, is you have to discover the quest, and then you also have to complete the quest. So that's why it's going to be taking 2. And then it only uses 1 variable, and that's just going to be the phase. And you can also use the variables now to change the phase of a quest to move it along. Alright, so now that we've covered all of that, let's go back. And we'll just exit out of here. And now one of the things that I always thought would be really nice, so if you see loaded up here, oh man, so we had everything renamed while we were playing the game, but they're not actually renamed in the editor. And I thought that would be a really nice thing to have instead of renamed to the editor, so that way when you are doing events, you can see that there. So we can actually get it to rename what's in the editor, but you have to do it in a very particular order. So the first thing you're going to want to do is save your project, then go ahead and open this up. Make sure everything is set the way you want it, so this needs to be true. Make sure both of the starting IDs are what you want. Make sure that rename switches is true, and then click OK. Alright, so now save it again, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to run it. Make sure you start a new game, and then once you're in a new game, then you can quit. So we'll just exit that out. Now, without doing anything else in the editor, you'll need to exit the editor and close it down. Alright, so then once you've done that, then just go ahead and load it back up. And once you've done that, now if we go and look, you can see that it will now show you all of those names in there, and that'll make it really easy while you're doing your eventing to go through and know which one is which without having to reference back and go back and forth, or having to put in all of these names yourself. So those are the big changes made. I think it's going to make it a lot easier to interact with the script, and I hope you really enjoy that. One of the last little things I've got for you is going back to the customizable constants here. If you look at the last one, show all quests. So right now it's set to false. And generally you're going to want to leave this to false, obviously, for when you have people playing the game. But if you set it to true as a debugging feature, then when you load into the game, what it's going to do for you is it's going to automatically show you all of the quests all of the time, regardless of whether or not they know you know the quest or not. So you can actually see, you can see here it says that we don't actually know these quests, but you can see them still showing up. So if you just need to look at everything and go through it all, debug it, that's the way that you can do that. So that's all there is in the new version. I hope you like the changes. If there's any other features you want to see added, just let me know.